All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am your Ice Dragon, RayronVR, and another week has gone by. Hopefully you guys are doing great. It has been a hot one and a muggy one here in the Lone Star State of San Antonio, and hopefully you guys are doing well. With that, let's go ahead and check out who all is here today. We got Jeff with the Icy Cookie, we got RayronVR, we got NEC, Amtrak, and welcome all to the lurkers in the background, and welcome to all of those who will be watching this stream on the replay. So, we have basically a lot of news. Basically, the big thing is going to be the Big Boy 4014. It has basically flooded the news. My Facebook feed has been swamped with all of the epic photos. Talk about history in the making. It is visiting 4012 right now, and yeah, we've got a lot of pictures to showcase today. It is absolutely quite epic. I haven't seen this much fandom when it comes to a particular steam locomotive, but yeah, absolutely crazy. We also got Deep Run RR Mike. How are you, good sir? Welcome. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. We've had rail fanners getting too close to the big boy as usual, too close to the tracks. We had drones going crazy. Oh man, it's been a week of news and announcements too. So yeah, absolutely crazy. With just the whole railroading in general. So also guys, thank you so much for adjusting to the new time slot. This is the second week in a row that we're going on a new Tuesday time slot starting at 7 p.m. So again, thank you guys so much for adjusting. Just had to do a little bit of an audible just because of everything that's going on IRL. But yeah, absolutely crazy. Yep, I know Jeff is biased with 611. 611 was definitely having her excursion runs as well. So yeah, definitely a great time to be in the hobby, regardless if you're rail fanning, if you're taking pictures, if you're doing drone shots, if you're doing model railroading. It is a great and epic time to be just any sphere of railroading, especially with the 250th anniversary coming up for the United States. So I know it's been also been drowning out with the World Cup. So hopefully you guys, if you guys watch soccer or any type of sports, are enjoying that as well. We just had two of our sports just recently end with hockey and basketball, but yeah, definitely a great time here in the US. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the showcase here. So today we're again celebrating the American Freedom Train, because why not? The 250th is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We're going to go ahead and epically celebrate it here on the Icyville subdivision on the modulars. We've got Challenger 3707 is going to be pulling our train today. And so let's go ahead and get underway. Go ahead and also, before I forget, give the green light. So go ahead and close. There we go. Give the green light. And Challenger is underway. Spooky Booty Bree. Welcome, welcome. How are you, ma'am? And our Freedom Train is underway. Yep, and the Southern 5401. Yep. We also had the Reading and Northern steam engine kind of dueling 4014 there for a second. Absolutely crazy times. All right, let's go ahead and get you guys on board real quick before we go into the news. All right, we get that front view of the Challenger. It's been a while since we've given the Challenger some love, so she is pulling the American Freedom Train for us today. A little rusty. Gonna go on a drive. All right. Have fun. Yep, Reading and Northern. Yep. So yeah, we've officially on the layout. Really nothing packed up yet. but I'm starting to pack up all of my tools and equipment. We've got our 7 mainline modular. Camp Pico is pretty much at a checkpoint. And so I am satisfied where it's currently at. And I'm going to go ahead and pack up all the tools. So a little bit more to come on that a little bit later. Right. All right. All right, guys. I think it's time to go to Le News. So this week has basically been dominated by the big boy. We've also got some other heritage units that we're starting to see some paint schemes of, including some from our freelance railways. So this is a freelance paint scheme, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. This is from the Rockport and Western American 250th unit, using the 44 AC there and the SD 40-2. And so you can see the designs there. So there's that one and there's that one. So beautiful paint schemes on both sides. Again, it is definitely the rise of the freelance railroads. Seeing how creative people can be, especially with the introduction of artificial intelligence. I was actually surprised to see that, what was it? Ken from What's Neat this week was actually talking about AI and how we can use it for designs. He's actually going to go into another episode about it. And I'm actually getting really excited because, again, AI is here to stay. Let's use it as a tool, and we can press forward with enhancing our hobby, buying back that time. I think, you know, AI is just one of those things that helps us buy back time when it comes to design and the graphics work, and allow us to continue to expand our creativity without being hindered by skill, talent, or time. So pretty cool to see these designs coming up. All right, so we got our first of several photographic scenes here from the Big Boy Tour. So G&W had their 250th diesels lined up perfectly, so when the big boy came underneath, you can see the epic shot here. This came from James Gulfey. So quite an epic shot there. Like, these are the type of shots is going to be like once in a lifetime. Absolutely insane of what we're seeing. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, Atlas. Why did I say good old Atlas? Oh yeah, they were talking about the grind, which we talked about that last week. Yeah, we'll reschedule, Jeff. No worries. We'll make it work. Okay, this week was the announcements from Broadway Limited. Broadway Limited had some epic announcements, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. First, we've got the Norfolk Southern Birmingham unit. It is going to be released in the Landmark Series units. And so the lineup's going to be including with the AC run-ups here. Order deadline is July 30th, and estimated arrival date is going to be December 2026. So again, one of the engines I'm probably going to be getting in the future, probably not this year though. So pretty cool to be on the lookout for. This was quite interesting. Something that I didn't know is that Union Pacific actually paints some of their rails white. So the paint helps for lower the rail's surface temperature to reduce the rail shifting and overheating. Now, Woodland Scenic, I believe, kind of memed on this a little bit and said that, hey, you two can get your, you know, your white painter pen and paint over the rails to make it prototypical. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. So they said it decreased derailment by 90% of this year, which is interesting. So reduces the rail temperature by 20 degrees. Trying to see if I can get a bigger picture for you guys. But yeah, you can kind of see it there. That's going straight to link. But you can see how white the rail is compared to the other half here. And it's just a truck painting it white on the rails. So I thought that was kind of neat. Okay, shifting to more big boy content, because of course, we gotta have it. Let me make sure I mute this. Okay. Okay, so again, this comes from the G&W, so you can see this comes from Tom Ball here. You see the G&W units, 250 units in the background, and then we got our big boy 4014 in the front here. So again, just some epic shots. Absolutely beautiful. And then kind of showcasing the hype around Big Boy. We're talking tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people going out and seeing this steam locomotive. This was at this particular entrance here at 6 in the morning, 6:15. The Upper Falls parking lot was over half full. So no doubt, absolutely crazy. So trains.com had this interesting announcement. USDOT releases the new images of the Penn Station remodeling plan. So the Department of Transportation on Monday released a new design renderings for proposed remodeling of New York's Penn Station, promising to transform the Manhattan facility for a more efficient, cleaner, and functional experience for more than 600,000 daily commuters and millions of visitors. So I think that's pretty cool that it's getting a facelift. So take a look at this. Kind of a classy retro feel. Yeah, that's gonna look stunning once it's all complete. Let's see. So again, guys, I cannot stress enough, we have got to police ourselves, because take a look at this. They are actively on a main line. Like 4014 is going to be on that tracks. So again, it's stuff like this that is going to ruin it for everyone else. If we don't police ourselves, if we don't stay the appropriate, 2,500 or 25 feet back, it's only a matter of time before someone gets killed. So again, don't be dumb. It's just not worth it, Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why I bring it to light, because this is not going to happen again. Like, it's only a matter of time before, local communities are going to say, no, we don't want this excursion going through town because it's a safety hazard. So, again, we cannot let that happen. So, okay, over in Omaha, I believe, yeah, the Omaha baseball field, I believe Union Pacific owns some of this property. I think they own like a baseball field. 4547 along with Lincoln 1616 was parked. And you see it's open to the public with a few photographers. And of course, you're going to have security. You can't go up to it. It's gated off. And it's just like, Union Pacific, you're not helping your cause. Like, it's just funny. This poor engine is just stuck in mediocre. There's some videos of Ed opening the injector overflow on people too close to a track and spraying water and steam on them. Yeah. Yep. How you doing, BNS Engineer? Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, I've seen that from time to time. It's pretty epic. Okay, so when 4014 was at, I believe, in New York, around the Buffalo area, we actually had a meeting. So you can see there's 4014, and there's the Heritage unit, the New York Central. First of many meetups along this trip, which is pretty darn cool. So this comes from Dispatch Junction. folks. Again, just epic, epic shots. This is a fantasy railroad modeler's dream, you know? Non-prototypical, but it's happening in real life. You're always on time as you need be, BCR Parts. Welcome, good sir. Glad you can make it. No worries. We're just going through the news. We've got our Challenger 3707 UP pulling our American Freedom Train to celebrate all of the epicness that is 4014. All right. So yeah, pretty epic meetup. And so we have our first announcement of 4547. Not necessarily the diesel, but Value Trains decided to do a 4547 boxcar. So take that for what it is if you're a fan of that paint scheme. There you go. I'm not gonna talk about that. No, we're going to this one. So for all of you BNSF fans out there, the 1776 and 2026 BNSF diesel locomotives, I believe this is going to be hooked up to the office car special. I don't know too much about this, but it's going to go on its mini tour on the West Coast. So you can see all the particular dates here. It's going to be in Lincoln. It's going to be in Alliance. It's going to be in Denver, which has already happened. So right now it is on its way to, looks like, Seattle. Oh, that's already passed. So right now it is in Stockton, and then it'll end in Fresno. So you can see the kind of the path that it went on for its mini tour. So kind of caught the tail end of this tour, but still kind of cool to see that they're trying to do something as well. Which goes to show you that, you know, Union Pacific actually had a good idea doing this coast to coast, and you know, now we're starting to see some of the other class ones try to catch up with it, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so now probably for some epic history making shots here. So this is the Genesee Arch Bridge. This comes from Union Pacific Railroad's Facebook page itself. This is one of the drone shots, and again, you want to talk about history being made, we're basically living it. And yeah, this is quite a spectacular scene. And just to put it in perspective, those little dots right there, that's all people. You can see it kind of goes up over here. It goes all the way down on the base there. But yeah, you absolutely incredible, the shots that we are getting from this. So the big boy actually ended up pausing on the center of this bridge, and an Ed being Ed actually got out on top of the cab here and was waving to the fans down below. Yeah, that was an epic shot, to say the least. I'm not sure if I actually have that shot of Ed waving down below, but I'll see here. Okay, some more fantasy schemes. Again, here's some more what ifs. This comes from the Freelance Railroad, the VNO, what I'm going to call the grandfather fantasy railroad, the one that kind of got popular and started everything when it comes to freelance. But this paint scheme is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that is really, really nice. So there's some shots that actually are pretty cool. You could see the engine going across, especially if you have a good camera that can zoom in. It made for actually some really, really good shots. Yeah. And I'll see if I can find it. I don't know if I have it saved, but we'll see if we can find it. So again, 4014 meeting up with that particular diesel as well. You can see there in Binghamton, New York. All right, and then so we've got a first decorated sample of the Rapido trains, the Toronto Transit Commission. So you can see these streetcars are amazing, and I hope Rapido really gets more into light rail transit. I know Bachman is starting to get their feet wet with it, but I hope Rapido is not too far behind. Yeah, exactly. Agree with you there, Jeff. But yeah, these cars are, I mean, just look how much details in these particular cars. Really, really nice. And to my understanding too, the pantograph is also a pickup. So if you want to do a pickup on the wire, you can set it up that way too, which is just a smart thing to do. Okay, so this is another particular viaduct. This is the Nicholson Viaduct. So again, you can see the entirety of the consist of Big Boy. This comes from the Ditch Light Productions. Oh yeah, here we go. So again, follow Ditch Light Productions on Facebook for these shots. Yeah, they always have been. So I thought it was on the previous bridge, but no, it was on the viaduct. So that was kind of my bad there. But again, you can just see these epic shots from any angle. And of course, you had planes going through. I think there was a paraglider with American flag that flew next to her. So, but yeah. So yeah, this picture is probably going to be infamous. This is just one of those that's going to go into the record books. This has been spread so many times. So there's Ed, back of the cab there, just waving to the crowd. Like, who would have thought? Such an epic sight. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So again, going over a different viaduct this time. So this is a third viaduct. It comes from Valor Media. Just absolutely stunning. Very patriotic too. I give UP a lot of crap for the 1776 diesel, but this tour is just a masterpiece. Oh yeah, so you can see all the people down below too. Wow. That's insane. You can see the line going all the way back there too. Yeah, and they had the NS 1776, so they probably didn't have the time, and since the whole purpose of this is also a big propaganda tour of Union Pacific and NS, so. But still, this is heaven for a lot of us. Absolutely amazing. So, just for perspective, when I stopped in Buffalo, New York, there was 28,000 visitors. This comes from the Norfolk Southern Facebook page. It is, absolutely it is. A lot of their gifts too were, pushing that. But still, absolutely cool. Okay, so we've got some epic videos coming out from the Reading and Northern scenic route. So, and I don't know if I have this picture, but it feels like every generation has their famous you know, drag racing style steam locomotives. Last generation, it was 844 and 4449. For us, no doubt, again, this comes from Smoke Orders. Highly recommend following Smoke Orders on Facebook. But take a look at this. This is 2102, the Reading and Northern, alongside 4014. So again, there's just those generational shots that we have, this dual side-by-side moments. And it just does not get any better than that. I mean, that is a perfect shot right there. I hope it falls flat on its face, and we'll see. Next up will be in July, so. But yeah, there's plenty of video out there that passengers from the Reading and Northern were able to get an up close and personal shot with 4014. I think High C was actually on 2102 on the observation end at the very back of the train getting shots. But yeah, there's so many shots of this. Beautiful. I think I'll skip that. But yeah, after these two steam locomotives were done on the main line, I think there was another excursion that ended up derailing. It picked the switch, so you can kind of see it here, right there. Pick the switch. So even in real life, coaches can pick the switches. So it is prototypical. So next time your passenger train derails on a switch, you can say, hey, it's just prototypical. So, good, Challenger. I gotta clean the wheels. I think a lot of people feel the same way. Not against it, but yeah. Okay, looks like the cameras fell off. Give me 1 second. Alright, I think we got it fixed. Alright, let's try that. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Alright, some more shots of the, again, just the side by side there. 4014, 2102. Absolutely. I mean, that's just gorgeous. This is something that will come out of, you know, a freelance railroad. Make sure the camera train gets through here. Yeah. All right, I think we're good. Mr. Split Rock, how are you, good sir? We're just enjoying all of the eye candy that came out of the East this week with 4014's tour and all the other little news sprinkled in between. So this comes from Union Pacific Big Boy Steam Power Group. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have our generational dual steaming photograph. Absolutely incredible. Really cool. All right, we'll continue on here. So again, more fantasy freelance 250 paint schemes. We've got the Appalachian lines here, and then we've got the VNO. So again, these two are kind of the powerhouses of several freelance railroads. But yeah, pretty cool that we're starting to see these freelances also pick up on the 250 spirit. Really, really cool. All right, and we got again more shots of 4014 with some of the other scenic railroads here. Just simply amazing. That one comes from Mary here. All right, and so from Altoona, we've got the next lineup of the 6. We've got 250. We've got Lady Liberty. Looks like this is number 2026. Out of the paint shop and ready to go on the main line. Incredible. All right, so now for the big event. So up and through a couple days here, we finally have the most anticipated meetup in like in several decades. It's been 40 plus years, maybe even more. Yeah, it's even more than that, maybe 50, 60 years since we've seen big boys together like this. This is definitely going to be, I would say, once in a lifetime. They may do this again, but you know, especially if the NS doesn't, if we don't see the merger happen, we may not get this again. The Lady Liberty Diesel is one of 6 from Norfolk and Southern. So they've got the Belle, Lady Liberty, and I can't remember the other ones, but yeah, that was Norfolk and Southern. So yeah, this comes from Steamtown. We've got 4012 and we got 4014. Absolutely incredible. And then we got some more shots here. What a time to be alive. All right, so we got some more shots of the 2 CSX units, 250 and 2026 on display at Waycross. So there's the United We Stand, and we got the stars and stripes. So again, some more shots on 4014 and 4012. This comes from John here. And you can see that they have parts of the train on display on the different sections here. So you can actually get into the coaches, take a peek around. There's a 250 on the turntable. 1776 parked in the back here. And then the rest of the coaches. Steamtown is the place to be right now. All right, so we got a few more announcements from Broadway Limited to talk about. So naturally, they've announced their big boy 250th celebration tour. It'll have the Eagle in the front at a whopping 900 and 800 respectfully. So we are slowly creeping up to having $1,000 big boy. God help us all. So, yeah. And I think we're going to get the next flood of big boy fantasy schemes. I think it's only a matter of time that Broadway Limited uses the tooling of the big boys that they have in HO scale. I think they're pretty good bet that they're going to do a lot of fantasy schemes. We saw the flood in O Gauge when it comes to Lionel and their announcements of the big boys. And so I think it's only a matter of time before we see BLI start going ham about it. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so we've got some new business cars also coming from Broadway Limited. We've got a GTW inspection car. We've got the Kansas City Southern inspection car. And I think this is the Wisconsin and Southern Railroad inspection car as well. So a lot coming up. Since we're on the topic of BLI, BLI has also announced that they're going to do their run of the Pennsylvania Railroad G5 class locomotives. So it's their 10-wheeler in HO scale. So that's going to be coming out for $550 and $450 respectively. You can see all their offerings. Yeah, you guys having a great conversation with the Class 1s. It's just, that gets into the realm of politics, and I'm just not really in the mood to talk about it. But yeah, definitely great discussion though. Okay, some more into N scale. Broadway Limited has announced some more cars here. We've got stock cars. Looks like they're going to have some sound and no sound options in N scale. Got some 4-bay 70-ton hoppers coming out as well. No, you guys are good. Just like I said, you guys are keeping respect. You guys are being respectful. It's just something I'm just not going to chime in on. But like I said, that's all I ask is we keep it respectful. We respect our personal beliefs, and sometimes we'll just discuss and go from there. Discussion, believe it or not, is not a bad thing. Okay, so we've got the Freedom Train 250. Some latest photography here. And I know I thought I saved one that had like all the diesels too. I think it's more, maybe I didn't. Thought I did. So Walthers is the first one that I know that have released the TTX boxcar, the ones with the flags on it. I know they've announced a run on that. I think they're really the only Walthers. I think is the only one that's really been gun ho and trying to get all the 250 freight cars. And Walthers is actually going to come up again here in a second, so we'll definitely be talking about them. Hello, Randall. Awesome, appreciate it, good sir. Hopefully work isn't giving you too much of an issue. So there's been some interesting news coming out of the European world. So there's a manufacturer called KR Models. Apparently it was run by one individual with a small staff in Canada, I believe. And their models were kind of hit and miss, but apparently KR Models has gone, I don't want to say out of business, but it's been dissolved. So if you've been following the European market, that's a big deal, and a lot of people have been been on both sides of the spectrum on this. But I really don't have anything to say because I haven't owned the KR Models. It's just more of, hey, if you're a fan of KR Models, sadly it's been dissolved. If you weren't a fan of KR Models, well, you know, it is what it is. So. There you go. All the hellos. Been pretty crazy the past few days, but it'll look good on the pay. There you go. Getting that hustle. Get that hustle. And more train money, yeah. Okay, so we've got an update from Third Models, the manufacturer of brass. So it's been a while since we mentioned them. We usually keep mentioning them in the O scale market, but this one is our 480s. I know our resident Jeff is excited for this because one particular model, I believe it was the M class, is the one you are looking forward to. I don't know if they have a picture of the M class on here. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, yep, there it is. Oh no, I just saw it. We will find it. There it is. So, yeah, you never heard of Caramels? Yeah, it's a European. I don't want to say it is based in North America, but it was trying to make European models, particularly British rail or British locomotives. So yeah, this is the M of Norfolk and Western. I haven't seen anyone else try to make this. And so this one has my attention. But again, it's almost out of my price range. But what's cool about Third Rail and Sunset models, Sunset Limited models, anyways, is that they install Blunamis, and they also install Keep Alives with them. So this is the first manufacturer that I've seen that they've actually allowed Blunamis to get installed. So definitely worthwhile for sure. All right, so credit to Railfan K for breaking this news to me. You know, we were talking last week about the NASA solid rocket boosters that came from Utah, the one that we saw that 4547 was pulling. Well, long and behold, Walthers decided to, you know what, we're going to make the whole freaking train. So this is going to be next year, thank God, because I definitely want to get this train because this is heavy lore for the Frostline Pacific Railway. This train is going to be vital. Minus the flat cars that would typically go in between these canisters. But man, this was huge. This was an epic announcement from Walthers. I think we can go. Tell you what, let's go to their announcement. So this was a video that they did. Let me get to this real quick. Was this from today? Yes. So I will link the YouTube video so you too can watch your wallet burn. Okay, so let's go to field trips. Okay, so this is Walthers. So not only did Walthers announce that, but they've got their Amfleet cars coming back too. This is pretty big. So, and not only that, they're coming in almost 3 different phases. So I think there's phase 3, there's 4, there's 5, I think. So if you're a big Amtrak fan, Walthers is going to be killing your wallet. So again, there's some more Amfleet cars. Fall of this year. All right, so this is the big one. This is the NASA rocket booster train. Again, thank God this is coming out next year, late next year. So we probably won't see this train till 2028, if I'm honest. So that'll give me some time to save to get this. But yeah, the entire, not just one, like they could have just done one. They went above and beyond, and they even got the roll cage bars for the boxcar. Because that's actually really useful for a lot of the highly sensitive components. And the thing is that this train can be pulled by a lot of class 1s. So I think I've seen it from UP to, I think, BNSF one time, to NS, to a lot of the, I think even the Florida coastline, or one of the short railways out there in Florida would pull this. So this train is multi-versatile in many different prototypical scenarios. So they got the Artemis signal, or symbol, the NASA symbol. But yeah, absolutely. This is a wallet destroyer for me. So that's really nice to see. Some more freight cars are coming out. Again, really don't care too much. They are coming with some undecorated ones, and looks like there's some decal, but you can paint it. So again, that's really cool. That's something that I would consider, especially for all these freelance railroads. Yeah, Walter's definitely knocking out of the park there. Mr. Chuck, how are you, good sir? Hopefully you're doing well. Going through some of the Walther bombshells from today. But yeah, this announcement, this is a really big announcement. I know it has a lot of people hyped. I'm excited for it. There's just so much that you can do with this train. So you're estimating 12 cars, estimating 50 each, makes that a $600 set. Yep, probably a little bit higher, I would guess, as MSRP. Well, maybe for retail, that's a good price, yeah. Have you seen the Walters National Mall Railroad build-off for 2026 neat categories? I have not. I have not. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, this is a heck of an announcement. So again, props to Railfan K, who broke that news to me. I was going through, I was like, oh, it's just a Walters thing, and then I saw this, and I was like, oh, this is game over. Yeah, definitely. 18 months to save up. That's why I'm very thankful that it said winter 2027. Yeah, there you go. Since SP also hauled the train. Yeah, this is a huge, I think this is going to be a huge moneymaker for Walters. Absolutely. This was a great call from them. Walters being sneaky with the announcements. Like, everyone's going the big boy route. Everyone's bringing out diesels and steams, trying to get all the 250s. And here's little old Walters getting all the other kind of epic trains. And so, yeah, I'm not letting this one sneak underneath the radar. This is something that's going to be big. Yeah, this is the announcement of the week for me, actually, to be quite frank. Think a video about the Walters model build-off is in our future, potentially. Yeah, that was a pretty epic announcement. We got the factory-made SRB train in HO before Grand Theft Auto 6. That's funny. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Quite an epic announcement. Okay, so something that's interesting that's happening in the HO or not HO world, the O gauge world is that MTH announced these water tenders that they're going to be doing, and not only are they going to do the prototypical ones, they've also got some fantasy schemed ones, which is grabbing my attention as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we got a couple of schemes here. That's pretty cool with the Rio Grande, a U.S. Army, the 250th, and the rest. Yeah, so I think for now, my videos are gonna be limited to the railfan videos I've been doing and the IRL railfanning videos that I've been capturing. As far as like news videos, they're kind of merged into the live streams for the time being, and just because of time. And I kind of like this format because we can both talk about it live. So you want the Norfolk and Western Steam engine with ESU Loke Sound. There you go. To get DCC ready and slap that Loke Sound 5 in there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And again, to wrap up the news, once again, this is the full lineup of those BLI inspection cars. They are definitely milking the tooling out of this, but rightfully so. It is by far a very gorgeous product. So again, you can see all those paint schemes that are coming out. Now, I do have a Kansas City Southern Riverosity train. You guys haven't seen it yet, but it's kind of stored away right now because I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. And so I'm actually really tempted to get the observation for KCS because I think I actually need one for that train now that I think about it. So I'm contemplating, and I still want to get my CPKC diesels. So that's something on my radar. So, yeah, quite an epic news week for sure. All right, let's take a look at this national model build off for Walthers. Let's see what that's all about. All right, Walthers National. All right, so 2026. Let's take a look at the categories. All right, so this comes from, looks like Instagram. All right, so red, white, and glue. Get ready to make your mark on history. Time to bring your ideas to life, one detail at a time. So the Walthers 2026 National Model Railroad Build-Off is underway. This year's America 250 theme invites modelers of all ages to start planning and building projects inspired by the heritage, history, and spirit of the U.S., with categories for both adult and young participants, plus a freestyle category. Open to everyone, there's a challenge for every skill level. Start building today. So there you go. You need to find and add a few more hours in a 24-hour day with your schedule and life now. Yeah, that I'm trying to. And it's only going to get more constrained. Because as we go back to Louisiana, I'm probably also going to go back to school. I want to get finish up my degree. And so, yeah, it's going to get interesting when we go back to Louisiana. You're entering the weather portion. You've already ordered your T-Box car. Well, good luck to you, good sir. I'm excited to see what you got. Yeah, I have a variety of categories. Okay, let me see if we can find these categories. Because this only tells me the theme. So let's see. You would think they would actually have a link on the Instagram post, but Check their page here. All right, let's see here. See if I can find it. Oh, authors, your website sucks sometimes. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Select your category. Okay, we got a whole bunch of information on this. All right, let's do this. So thank you, Split Rock, for bringing this to our attention. There's actually a lot of things in here. Okay, so here is, matter of fact, let me go ahead and share the link with you guys as well. Okay, there we go. All right, build the spirit of America from past to present. So you select your category, create your entry, submit your entry. This contest begins June 1st. Entries due by October 1st, and winners are announced November 2026. So here are the categories for the adults. History, diorama, celebrating America's 250th, and there's your cast prizes. Pretty cool. We've got a patriotic paint scheme, freight car decorating. And there's the undecorated freight cars. That's pretty clever. All-American favorite, weathering. Youth, historical diorama, celebrating America's 250th anniversary. Youth, patriotic paint scheme, freight car. Youth, all-American favorite, weathering. And then freestyle category for the adult and youth. Show us your modeling chops in whatever scale you like. Create a 4x2 diorama that showcases creativity and craftsmanship. The theme is entirely up to you, whether it's a bustling cityscape or a serene natural setting or charming farm scene. Let your skills shine. Pretty cool. So here's all your contest rules and entry. There you go. So if you're that type that wants to enter in a contest, there's your opportunity. And look at Walters using AI for their graphic. This actually looks pretty cool. I'm assuming. I could be wrong. But nevertheless, that's a pretty cool graphic. Pretty cool. Let me see. So most of these 2 width by 2 foot by 1 foot. It depends on 2 feet by 1 foot, 2 by 1, 2 by 1. Four by 2. So again, depends on which category. So the freestyle is 4 by 2. Yeah, great way for us to create content. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, this is the first time I've ever heard about it. And the fact that this started 16 days ago and no one else is talking about it. Again, it's just one of those things that, thank you, Spilbrook, for sharing. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think that's going to be a big focus when we go to Louisiana. Because again, I don't know what my space looks like. I'm assuming it's going to be a small bedroom. And so I think my content may shift from, you know, going around in circle for the podcast to actually shifting to probably be a point to point. And I want to focus on scenery. Because I'm missing the days of doing scenery. I used to be a Warhammer 40K painter, doing the scenes and everything. So a lot of scenic stuff that I know come from Warhammer 40K. So I do want to dive back into it. Walters needs help a lot of social media messaging. Yeah, I mean, Here on the channel, we are trying to do our best with, with the amount of time that's allotted, but I'll do my part. So, yeah, and that's the whole reason why I love doing this show, is just to get the message out there. There's a reason why Icyville, the nickname of Icyville, is the gateway to railroading, because, again, this whole podcast is around, Icyville and model railroading and so forth. But again, we also showcase the news to bring this stuff to light. Because sometimes we get buried into so many, and don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily a bad thing that we get buried into our specialities, like of scenic, of wiring, of layout displays. But it's stuff like this that we got to bring to the forefront as well. So, yeah, pretty cool. Something else that caught my attention with Walthers. Let me go back to. So this is their lineup. Let me see what they got here. Let's see. Which is, why would you just show? Oh, that's just a sale. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought this was going to show all their 250th lineups. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to see. So yeah, the question was asked, like, how do we get all it if anyone has made their 250th freight cars? Yeah, we talked about that a lot, Randall. That one's gonna be a must for me, because that train signifies a lot for me personally, because I've been to the Northrop Grumman the rocket garden that's out there at Promontory Point, Utah. That's home for me. I love space stuff. I follow SpaceX religiously, follow the Artemis program religiously. So it is literally the perfect train for me, because it blends those two together. And it's just the icing on the cake that it comes from Promontory. It's part of Icyville. The lore script that I have for Icyville written up has that included. So it's actually a very important train for me. So yeah, I can't remember who asked earlier regarding the 250th freight car. I think it was maybe BCR Parts. I don't know, I could be wrong. But Walthers right now has been killing it when it comes to everything else that's not 250 related. But you can see that they're also doing their runs of the 250 units from CN. There's CPKC. We've got those TTX box cars. So I think we're eating well when it comes to 4th of July themed trains. Yeah, Walthers has been sneakily good with their 250th items. Like, we even got a refrigerator boxcar that's in 250. And this is really important for me too, because 4014 didn't necessarily pull this, but they did pull some modern refrigerator boxcars on some of their runs to get back either to and from Cheyenne or Omaha. So yeah, this is really good for them. Some diesels. They have the other CN units. So yeah, Walthers has been a big one on it. They've been sneakily good with their announcements. Nice little rabbit hole there. All right, let's see here. See if there's any other announcements that snuck up on us. And then we'll talk about some channel news. And then we'll just chill and do some rail fanning. Get you guys back on board. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Talked about the big boy to death today. But yeah, after it leaves Steamtown, go to Pennsylvania for the 4th of July, and then that's it. Things start to wrap up for the 250th. You know, the big Super Bowl for the 250th celebration is going to be obviously the 4th of July, which this channel will be celebrating. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited. I've got a special mega project coming out on the 4th. So more to come on that. More to come. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's getting super saturated, which it's just a natural human thing. Yeah, there was a point last week. It's like, okay, I love you, big boy, but my feed needs. I want to see some model announcements now. My Facebook feed was just flooded, and then the World Cup started, and that started to fill up my feed. But for those of you who are a fan of football, or as we say in America, soccer. All right, so let's, I guess we're going to talk about some channel news. So what have I been working on behind the scenes? Yeah, I've seen a couple of people get the 611 shot on an excursion, but really, you know, everyone's grabbing the 4014 right now. All right, so let's talk about some channel news. Let's do... Oh yeah, and then we also have a celebration to mention. So Railfan K, shout out to you. He has reached the big number of 10,000 subscribers. So congratulations to you, good sir. Saw that you crossed that number. So congratulations, good sir. Is in order. So yeah, speaking about that, Jeff. So there was I said this on a Facebook post. Oh, not post. YouTube post. Community post, whatever we call these things. So one of the O gauge. Let me grab this video because this video is actually pretty darn good. Okay, so this comes from an O gauge streamer that I watch. His name is Datified, and he actually talks about that very thing about, you know, are we seeing too much of the big boy? Are we seeing too much in rail fanning? Are we seeing too many announcements on the O gauge side? And he goes into very good detail on, yeah, maybe super saturated for us because we're into the hobby so much, we're hyper focused, we're in tune to what's going on. But to your average, you know, American out there who's not into the hobby, it is a very good branching in opportunity and gateway into the hobby. And so, yeah, it's saturated to us, but if we want this hobby to grow, if we want to see these manufacturers survive and continue to produce these excellent models and to go into other projects, we need to have the people get into this hobby. And so that video I found very fascinating. So something that I would recommend. Oh, and I thought I didn't update video on this, but I guess I didn't. Okay. So I've been working on the Pico modular a little bit more. I've got... So this right here is all done. I actually have the other track glued down and ready to go. I'm probably going to have a video where I have a locomotive on each of the 5 main lines that I have operational. I still need to buy one more controller, but we're pretty much set. I'm not gonna grab the other two. So you can see there, we've got Atlas, we got the ME Code 70, we've got the American K-Track. Oh no, sorry, that's code 80. No, code 83. American K-Track, code 100. And then eventually we'll have the TILIG dual tracks for HOM and HOM30. But I'm pausing on this project because of the move. The TILIG dual track is going to take 4 to 6 months to ship from Europe. And there's no way I'm gonna, I'm gonna be moved by the time this even starts to ship. So gotta wait till after the move. Probably won't be until next year we get these particular tracks. But what that allows me to do is start priming and painting and ballasting at least these 5 tracks. So little by little, the dream of having a modular racetrack that'll allow us to run anything we want is almost there. We're almost there. Yep, agree. General public for the big boys leading the charge on getting people into hobby. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, everyone wins when we have a new member come in because of Big Boy. And the fact that we're getting 20K over, probably over 200K at Steamtown, that's just potential growth for the hobby. That's all future modelers that's going to be interesting. So going with the same ballast color for all 5 tracks. So I've been debating what to do with the ballast. Again, this is based off of Icyville in the Great Freeze era, so this is probably going to be heavily focused on winterizing it. And winter scenery is tricky because winter, you really have to be delicate because, again, we think of it as white, but again, if you put too much white, it completely saturates the palette of what you're trying to do. And so winter scenes, you really have to be careful with the white. And so I'm going to experiment with a few techniques that I'm probably going to paint this all brown, and then I'm going to put my grass layer, and then I'm going to start sprinkling ballast down. But then what I'll probably do is do the normal ballast, but also paint some in the ballast white as well, and mix some white ballast into it, and then sprinkle on some white snowflake felt or mesh on top of the grass layer, because we still need to have somewhat of contrasting colors even though it's in snow, but make it look like it's snowfall too. So it's a balance. And so this is going to be my first test experiment with it. So it's going to have the same color, but also going to be a mixture of colors, if that makes sense. But more to come. More to come. So yeah, it's probably going to look like something like this, but again, we talk about that color palette, and even this is a little bit too much white. So some things that I'm thinking about is that, yeah, we'll probably have some grass, we'll probably have the white, but another thing I'll probably end up doing is putting some put the green bushes down, but then also airbrush it white as well, just a little bit, or even dry brush it white is probably what I need to do. So that way it still has the green, but then it has that top layer of white color. So this is probably the scheme that I'm going for. I'll probably mix in a little bit, and I'll probably be very, very conservative how I do this, but I'll probably have some ballast that I'll paint like icy blue. So that we have some icicles kind of on the gravel as well to indicate just how cold it got. So you're going to be working on fall ballast. There you go. Yeah, there's plenty of tips when it comes to the fall. Yeah, and that's true too. So yeah, it'll be a lot of dry brushing, like leakage of oil on the center of the rails. Yeah, you'll have that brown black slush when things start to melt a little bit with the water around it. So yeah, there's a lot of techniques that I want to try when it comes to this particular modular. So yeah, that the Tillich dual tracks, those are the ones that I'll be waiting on probably next year. So I'll probably order them. Let's see, September. I'll probably order them in October because I'll probably have at least an address at that point. So we'll quickly order it then and probably get it early next year. But yeah, nothing too crazy. As far as the channel's concerned, I'm just slowly and surely getting that modular done, and then packing up the rest of my tools, because at this point, I really don't have anything that I'm going to be building, kind of pausing on building any new modulars until post-move. But definitely getting excited. So one thing I also want to talk about is Shreveport a little bit, and the home of the Sioux Line Railroad. So I've been doing a little bit more research on the Sioux Line, and I am definitely getting excited for this. But come to find out, the Sioux Line Railroad is actually owned by one guy, and it's actually a private layout. So I'm hoping that I can help. So this is the Sioux Line Facebook page. And another thing that I found out too, this layout and this building is 7,000 square feet. I think that's double, maybe triple the size of Samara. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's owned by one person and he just has a lot of people helping. The Sioux Line is another freelance railroad, and they're going fully hardcore into this. So you can see this is the Big Sky and Pacific, basically a Zephyr car that got turned into the BSP. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping to be part of this journey, because this is the part of the hobby that I've never really seen. I always grew up in building modulars, but I've never seen the building of a layout, and especially to this scale. They are installing the ESU command station. They are installing some LCC signals. So I'll get to learn LCC. So I'm really excited for that. We've got this big trestle bridge here that they just put in. I think it's going to be like 3 layers tall. Absolutely stunning. So I'll be talking about this pretty consistently. And hopefully I'll get some more pictures for you guys. Now, again, keep in mind that this is a private layout. More than likely, we won't be able to run our private equipment onto this like we do at Samara. But I think we'll get some epic shots. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. So, you know, I'm hoping to ask, and hopefully I can record the process of helping them, but we'll see. I can't promise anything since I found out it's a private layout. So yeah, hopefully hopefully you guys will get to see some insides of this. I mean, it's just freaking massive. Look at all the trestle bridges that are going in. Like, I'm in heaven. Big Sky and Pacific. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll see. I'll see what I can do for you guys. We shall see. All right. So I think that pretty much wraps up the news. If you guys have any news to share or want to talk about any particular type of conversation that's been drumming up in the community, feel free to chat about it, and we may dive into it some more. For now, I think we'll do some rail fanning. Actually, I just thought about one more thing. So I know at the beginning of the stream, Railfan K was mentioning that he was able to capture. Railfan K, if you're still here, am I good to share those photos from Discord? I want to ask before I share this. Let me make sure too that I share. Let's see here. Do I have right the server? You have all the permission. Okay. Again, just making sure I do my due diligence. All right. Give me 1 second. Copy. Okay. If you guys don't know, we do have a Discord. I don't tend to use it often, but it is there if you guys want to have an alternate means of talking with the Fellowship of the Frostline Pacific. And in there, Railfan K actually got a good shot of this particular diesel. So we've got, this is 4407. The Pharaoh suit. Beautiful shots, by the way. Yeah, these are beautiful. So nice rare locomotive you caught there. Very nice. So yeah, just some basic stuff on the Discord server, but it's there. It is there. Yeah, that's all good. Again, Samra's going to be there every day. You're not going to see that diesel every day, so. But yeah, we won't be at Samra this week. Taking a little bit of a mini vacation before we have to really gear up the packing and gear up house hunting and all that, so. All right, let's get you guys on board. We haven't get you guys back on board in a while, so let's do this. One person said more than 15 units might be coming by, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. My goodness, wow. So welcome on board Challenger 3707. This is an Atherin Genesis Tsunami 1. Eventually I'll convert over to a Blunami Challenger. And on the rear we have the American Freedom Train. These are Lionel HO scale. Some duplicates to make the longer consist. I hope to grab some of the Bachmann ones that have come out. But yeah. So right now, tentatively, my last week to come to Samra is going to be the last week of July, and it'll also be the last week of the stream. The stream will go on hiatus after July. That just allows me to kind of take inventory, pack things up here, figure out what I'm going to take, and then, you know, say the goodbyes, and then we'll reconvene the stream probably around December. So that way we can do our Christmas train, we can do our IC award stream for like best manufacturer, best item of the year, so on and so forth. I really love doing that stream, so want to do that again, and then we'll wrap up 2026 and then do some goal planning for 2027. Will do. Tentatively, the last date is probably going to be July 26th will be the last Sunday, and July 30th will be the last Thursday, because I want to do both and try to catch everyone that goes on those two respective days. Gonna try. Yeah, because then August, it's more of inventory and packing. September will be house hunting. October will be the move. So. All right, Randall, take it easy. Thank you so much for dropping by. All right, let's also go to our BCF parts camera. Been a while since we've seen this view. I appreciate you guys' support. Yeah. All good. And again, we'll always be here on the digital side. And something that I want to do too is if you guys ever get into a video game called Rolling Line has gone multiplayer and it has operations. And so something I'm thinking about doing is in the future have streams where we do multiplayer Rolling Line to do a digital layouts that you guys can come in and actually help us build and run trains and so forth. So that's something that I'm looking into as well. Just leave it on this camera view for a hot second. But yeah, kind of crossing fingers too about the internet, because here we've been blessed with Google Fiber, and Google Fiber has been the best internet I've ever had. And so going from Google Fiber back to AT&T Fiber, that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Yeah, if you haven't played Rolling Line, a lot of my digital rail fanning videos come from Rolling Line. It is by far one of the best games out there. Oh yeah, Railroader is another one. Railroader though is the thing about Railroader is that it's very sim oriented, whereas Rolling Line is more model railroading focused, where you can actually create tables of, you know, it feels like you're creating a legit model railroading layout. That's actually something I want to highlight real quick. There is a content creator that's highlighting that now when it comes to operations, but let me see if I can find him. So Rolling Line, I think it's like 19 bucks on Steam. It's not bad at all. It has the best Steam support. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. Rolling Line, where are ya? I spent almost 100 hours already on Rolling Line. It is such a good game. Let's see. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to find that video. Maybe it is this guy. Let's see. Yes, so about 2 years ago, I was streaming Rolling Line as a placeholder for this layout. Just to get, back into the groove of model railroading. Oh, it says that this is not it. Oh, if I find out, I'll share it. Yeah, it's a really, really fun game. All right, let's go back to all the cameras. Maybe that I really haven't talked about this. Let me actually go to Rolling Line News real quick. So, this is the developer, and he recently came out with an update where you can take these tables and you can actually shape the polygons on the particular table, so that way you can get mountains, you can get valleys here, you can get water, you can build tunnels. You have a paintbrush that you can actually paint these particular polygons. Yeah, it's gone fast. It's gone really fast. It feels like yesterday, met you guys. Okay, so that is a link to the developer of the rolling lines. So you guys can see the customizability for this is absolutely insane. So you got mountains, trees, cliff sides, deserts. It's such a fun game. Well worth the money. And the best Steam support. People have been making mods and adding more content, locomotives, freight cars, whatever, into it. It is by far a very underrated game, and I'm surprised not more modeling railroad YouTubers captures this. Oh no. Gotcha, Jeff. But yeah, I will have to admit that San Antonio was by far a great city for model railroading. I cannot stress enough that this city has a lot going for it. Again, the three big clubs here with Samra, with TTM, with Elmendorf, those three have different styles to the hobby that you will find something to like in this city. Definitely gonna miss it. But we'll come back and visit. Love San Antonio. All right, let's go to some cameras. Let's do some rail fanning. So let's capture the train here. So you wish you had more training stores like we did about 15, 20 years ago. So one thing I'm starting to learn very quickly is that Shreveport doesn't have a store. So let's see, make sure I didn't lose any frames here. Okay, there we go. Make sure I'm still live. Okay. Yeah, so Shreveport doesn't have any train stores, unfortunately. It has Hobby Lobby, and that's about the only thing. And so, you guys have Douglas, you guys have Hobbytown. There may be two stores, but at least it's something. Or, sorry, not Douglas, Dibbles. That's what I'm at. Yeah, because my next place is going to be all online ordering. I mean, I've kind of already migrated to online ordering, but it's still nice to go into a store. But the next city will be 100% online orders. But yeah, again, everything's perspective. Like 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have like the advances in details, the electronics, the scenery. So it's like which era of the hobby do you want to be in? Do you want to be in where there's many more train stores, but technology wasn't there, or do you want to have dwindling number of model train stores, but with all the technology that we have today? So it is quite quite a conversation. So there was something called Lone Star Train, so that was definitely before my time, and in Hobbytown, USA. So there is a new one that opened up just north of the city. Yeah, online's how you order. I got spoiled by a train store called Iron Planet Hobbies, and one of our good friends, Heath at Humanity Junction, has his discount code for 10% for human, and that has saved me a tremendous amount of money. And then the rest of the stuff I typically go through Train World. Lone Star had a lot. Oh man, that's a shame. So Lone Star Hobbies. Let me see if I can get any old pictures. Let's see. So closed. Yep. There's Lone Star Training Collectibles. That's not in San Antonio. Huh. So you'll give up the tech for in-person stores, as I enjoy the building aspect more than the operations. Fair enough. And that's the great thing about the hobby, is that it can adapt to any style. You like the Planet Hobby, Spring Creek, Model Train's another great place, yeah. And that's the thing about, so that's the other thing about San Antonio, is that you got this area has so many train stores, like not train stores, train shows. Like it's actually, on a good day, usually you can get one train show a year. Dear God, San Antonio has, or at least drivable from San Antonio. You've got Samra, you got the two New Braunfels train shows, you've got Austin that typically happens, you've got Temple, you've got the one that Oge just happened recently. I think it was a train collect or Toy Trains Collector Association, whatever. It escapes me. You got the one that travels, which is the NMRA Lone Star region. You guys have an excellent NMRA group division. Like San Antonio's, don't underestimate San Antonio when it comes to the hobby. Because when I go to Shreveport, there's no train shows in that city. I would have to drive 2.5 hours to go to Dallas to get the Plano train show, and then probably 3-4 hours to hit Temple. So yeah, the more I think about it, this area has so many train shows. It's actually kind of insane. Good question. I think that's this weekend. Hang on. And so off the train show But good place to start your own train show. I wish I had the time. Absolutely. Ideally, I would start my own model railroading or modular model railroading club. But again, it just depends because I want to see what that private layout for the Sioux Railroad looks like and figure out the chemistry and figure out if it's going to be a right fit for me, because it may not be a right fit for me. It just depends on my biggest thing is how humble is the owner. Because for me, an owner can make or break a layout. I hate to say it. But it may be the most advanced, the most, very pretty layout, but if the owner's not humble about it, that's kind of the tricky thing when it comes to a private layout. Especially if I believe the layout is on private property too. That's where things get really, really tricky. It's not public, like the three clubs here are. So we'll see. Let's see. Austin Train Show 2026. That is in August. So August 29th and 30th. So definitely won't be going to that one. There's one still in Austin. I think it's the Lone Star region. Had a lot of merchandise and you went to online sales. Fair enough. That makes sense. Oh, Thousand Oaks. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Lone Star region. Region trade show. 6. So the Lone Star division of the NMRA is having their train show in Austin. Let's see. One of these days I'll have these dates all together. Austin, Texas, June 18th to the 20th at the Wynham Garden, Austin. So yeah, there is a good job you mentioned it. Looks like there is a train show this weekend in Austin. I think. Let's see. Yeah. So Connections 2026 Lone Star Region Convention. It starts Thursday in 2 days, June 18th through Sunday, June 21st. So again, there's 2 Austin train shows. You got the Lone Star Region NMRA, which that one rotates from city to city. It was in Houston, I think, last year, or Dallas. It was one of the two. But now it's in Austin this year. And that's coming up this weekend. Get you guys that info. Let me actually do this. This is productions, right? Yeah. There you go. So that'll get you all the info for the Lone Star region. Looks like there's a lot of stuff going on for it too. Darn, I wish I could have remembered that. But oh well. But yeah, you guys in the model railroading community are definitely set in San Antonio. A hobby is well and alive, and there's plenty of lone wolf layouts out there too. So it looks like there was another hobby town, USA. Wow. Yep, the hobby's just changing. Everyone's going online, going to pre-orders, social media. But no doubt, the future is here and it's changing. It is changing. Let's see if there's anything else worth mentioning. All right, let's go back to some more rail fanning. Let's see. This one's going to be coming up on this view. So yeah, packing up the T-track layout there. Be one of the first things to pack up as we start getting the Camp Pico modulars up and going. Not need the cheat tracks, at least for this stage. Been a while since we had the overhead shot. I need to fix that MKD. The American Freedom Train. Alright, let's get you to show center. As 3707 comes around. Alright, let's do this camera angle. Do you think the one Austin Highways and the shopping center train will all the way in the back? Interesting. Alright, we'll get you guys back on board. Alright, so we crossed over 8130 subscribers. We're approximately 8137. Again, marching our way to 9,000 and eventually 10K. Again, thank you guys for all your continued support, bearing with us as we have changed the time, as things start to wind down, get ready for this move. Again, that allows us to get into new opportunities. All right. Oops. There we go. Do one last check on the news here, see if there's anything else that's popped up. Don't think so. Oh, interesting. So here's some interesting news. So this comes from Brian Haynes, or Haynes. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. But apparently, this was in Alice, Texas today. The CPKC 250th anniversary unit is in Texas. Look at that. Very interesting. Now I'm curious, where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Where is Alice, Texas? Oh, that's down south near Corpus. I wonder which way it was going. Huh. Interesting. Small world. See, everyone's excited about the Amfleet cars. Everyone's getting excited about the NASA rocket booster train. Oh, hey, here's some footage of it. Hang on. We've got some video, and this comes from Ernesto Garza. So here's some video of that CPKC. Look at that. In the Great Lone Star State. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring, let's see. Let's go ahead and flip our signal to the yellow, indicating to the engineer that we're going to do one last lap. And then we'll turn to red, and then we'll close up episode. I believe this is 78. Yeah, little by little, we are creeping up to the 100 episode. That's insane. 100 IC Railway podcasts. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, but we got there. Slowly and surely. Passing our yellow signal there. All right, let's go ahead and flip to red. Let's go ahead and go back to showcase center. Alrighty. Alright, here comes our challenger pulling the American Freedom Train. And probably overshot that just a little bit. But with that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of your supports for all the likes, the subscribes, the watch hours. You guys have been killing it this month. Again, model railroading is such an incredible hobby. It's in a great place, and it's just fun to share this journey of the world's greatest sandbox hobby. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.
Thanks.